Many of us live in fast-paced, hectic environments, not simply because of our external environment, but because regardless of where we spend most of our time physically, we are constantly connected to the outside world through, you guessed it, our devices. Whilst they feel like they can provide us with relaxation and entertainment, it may actually just be that they are subconsciously exhausting you. Our jobs often require us to be constantly productive, and the increase in home working can make it feel like we're always on the clock. And even the 24/7 intensity of self-employment can leave little time for rest and relaxation, which, combined with this little thing, means we are always on. Even without a busy society and our phones, our brains are actually not wired to be positive. You see, back in the days when we were not the apex predator, meaning we weren't the dominant predator, every single day posed new threats to our survival. Every single snap of a twig could mean being a few feet away from death. And so over time, our brains developed to have a really strong ability to see risk, fear, and basically the negative, which is a response stored in the alarm bell of the brain, called the amygdala. The amygdala is a bit like a fire station, always on the lookout for signs of danger. When it sees smoke, aka any hint of any danger, it sends out an alarm and mobilises the brain and the body to take action. Whilst this does keep us safe, even in today's society, it's also a large reason why it's actually so unnatural for us to be happy. But fear not, there are ways in which you can pacify the amygdala, tone down those alarm bells, and start turning that frown upside down. Number 1, relax. When you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, your brain is in a high state of arousal, not the sexy kind. This can lead to a racing mind that can make it really difficult to concentrate or have clarity on certain situations, which in a stressful situation is necessary. It's like having a glass of muddy water that's been stirred up. When you meditate or practice mindfulness, you effectively train your brain to enter a state of relaxation. So through steadying of your breathing and clearing of your mind, your heart rate slows down, and this signals to your amygdala that danger is no longer present. And this metaphorical glass of water therefore gradually becomes stiller and actually clearer. Neuroscientific research has actually shown that regular meditation can change the structure and function of the brain in various ways. For instance, it can actually increase the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in attention and decision-making, and not only shush the amygdala in times of stress, but it can actually help to decrease the size of the amygdala. These changes naturally lead to a greater ability to regulate emotions and respond to stress in a more balanced way. So, whilst the stressful situations don't disappear, your ability to respond calmly to them and with clarity will increase. But remember, if, like me, sit-down meditation is not the most appealing idea, then heading out for a walk and switching off your phone or heading to the pool for a swim are other ways in which you can increase your level of mindfulness, whilst also decreasing your stress levels. Number 2, connect. Building strong social connections and frequently building on your relationships with loved ones can not only also help to rejig your ancient mind's focus on fear and the negative, but it also actually helps you to tap into the one element that we actually used to use as a protection mechanism. You see, by being part of a group and feeling connected to others, we actually feel safe and protected, which is exactly what helped us to have mental clarity in our hunter-gatherer days, when to be alone was, to put it simply, a sure way to get yourself killed. We depended on our tribes and our packs. So feeling connected to others also activates our brain's reward systems, releasing chemicals like oxytocin and dopamine that make you feel really good. But when we're also busy, it can be difficult to find time to not only meet up with others, but even to connect with the people that you live with. So I would highly recommend scheduling just 1 hour a week where you and someone else truly connect. This could mean going on a jog or a walk with a friend and chatting whilst you do so, playing a game or going out for a meal. But there's only one rule: turn off your phone. Possibly something work or home related might be occupying your mind even if your phone isn't. So talk about it. Leaving that thing in your mind and trying to ignore it won't work. Instead, the person you're with will feel disconnected from you. So instead, if there's something going on up here, then allow it to improve the bond between the two of you. Number 3, move. We all know that regular exercise is good for us, but it's also one thing that gives us the most displeasure when we think about it. Bit of irony there. There's a quote I've heard many times that goes, "You will never regret a workout. The only workout you will ever regret is the one that you didn't do." And it's so true. We might dread going, but once we're done, we never ever say, "I wish I hadn't done that." So a really great tool to actually apply that quote rather than just hear it and not actually implement it is that as soon as you consider doing some kind of physical exercise, is to ask yourself, how will I feel after I've done this? You see, if we feel dread at the idea of doing something, but amazing after we've done it, then thinking about doing it is the worst thing you can do, surely. It's literally a recipe for demotivation. That is, unless you're already feeling motivated to do it, which, let's be honest, most of us aren't. On the contrary, if you were to flip your mind to thinking about the feelings you'll have both in body and mind after the activity, simply the mental image of how you will feel afterwards will trigger the release of dopamine in your body, which is a neurotransmitter involved in not only the sensation of pleasure, but also of motivation and reward. Number 4, give. Engaging in activities that give back to others, such as volunteering, can also dramatically increase feelings of happiness and purpose in life. When we're in a job that doesn't massively fire up our fulfillment meter, or the work that we do requires a lot of input for very little output, then investing our spare time in volunteering and helping others can tick that box that is being neglected. A study published in the journal Health Psychology found that people who volunteered at least 200 hours per year actually had lower blood pressure and lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol compared to those who didn't do any volunteering. Volunteering has also been associated with a number of other physical health benefits, including lower mortality rates, improved cardiovascular health, and a lower risk of developing certain chronic conditions. But regardless of these, if taking an hour or two a week to help somebody else, it doesn't just make them feel great, it also has amazing effects on your own well-being. Number 5, reframe. The reason why meditating is such a powerful tool in calming our amygdala and actually decreasing it in size is because it almost dissolves our strong emotions and thoughts as we become more centered in ourselves and focused on more calming things like our breath or our body. However, there is a different technique that, in my mind, is quite frankly the best strategy for increasing happiness. And it doesn't involve you having to sneak off to the loo to meditate every time you get frustrated at work, or counting to and back from 4 in your mind whilst having a conversation. It's to actually change your thoughts. Your thoughts are so powerful, and the truth is that you most likely have no clue how powerful they really are. When we're upset, we say, "They've upset me," or "That upset me." You never say, "The thoughts that I'm thinking are upsetting me." You see, we are so quick to blame our situations for how we feel, but the only reason why we ever feel anything is based on what we're telling ourselves up here. Whilst, yes, we have eyes and ears, our brain can't actually see or hear anything, and so it only goes off what we tell it. You have selective hearing in ways that you probably haven't realised before. Do you remember when you were a kid and you maybe were playing with the Xbox or doing something that was consuming all of your attention, and then your mum or dad told you to come and do the washing up or a similar chore? You pretended like you didn't hear, or you actually didn't hear. So how is this? Well, you didn't hear because your brain actually sifted it out. It glitched in a way. because you chose not to prioritize that piece of information that you were experiencing at that time. Everything that you are feeling now, in the past and in the future, is 100% down to your thoughts and down to the language that you use in your own mind. You have to understand that the things that you tell yourself matters. What you tell yourself impacts how your body feels. They impact the emotions that you experience, and they actually change the way that you react to the same situation. So if you can start becoming conscious of your thoughts and challenging yourself on whether or not they connect to your sense of safety and connection, and if they don't, then choosing an alternative thought that does, and then doing that daily for 30 days, you will override your brain's instinct to pump itself with negative emotion and focus on fear and focus on what could possibly jeopardize your sense of safety. And you'll gradually ease your brain's ancient shield down. So, whilst it may feel challenging to find happiness in our busy lives, it's by no means impossible. By taking care of yourself and prioritizing what brings you joy and incorporating activities that have been proven to benefit your well-being, as well as consistently challenging the thoughts that you think, your mindset and happiness will soon receive a full MOT. So do yourself a favor and just implement one of those 5 things, and your happiness will reach whole new levels. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to give it a like, click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so that you are notified every time I post. Thank you for watching, and all that's left to say is, I appreciate you.